Welcome to Popcorn Chat. I'm Kurt Jarvis. This week I will be reviewing two movies for you, Project X and The Lorax. And I promise you this is probably the only time I'm ever going to have two titles with the letter X in them at the same time. This is fantastic. Let's start with The Lorax, starring Danny DeVito and Zac Efron. As many of you know, The Lorax is a Dr. Seuss story that they have turned into a movie. While that is nothing new, what is kind of new is that these things are always hit or miss with Dr. Seuss. And I think the problem with it is they take such short stories, because Dr. Seuss doesn't write long, let's put it that way. And they try to turn them into these bigger films. And sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. The Lorax works for the most part. It has some problems with the script, it has some problems with the story, but what it does right, it does very well. And it kind of sugarcoats it with really fun characters. And, you know, when you do animation, you have a lot of leeway as an actor. And it was really nice to see Danny DeVito and Zac Efron and all the other actors really in the movie really take over their character. So you know what, let's just play with this a little bit. Let's just have a little fun with it. Because it's Dr. Seuss. You don't have anything to lose. Why not? And they did that very well. In fact, what I enjoyed about it was, as far as the character standpoint, was not only how well they got into character, but how well they played off each other. And a lot of times that's hard to do in animation because you're not even in the same booth when you're doing the voiceovers. So somebody did something right. I don't know how many takes they had to do, but they're obviously feeding in the other actors when the other actors were doing their voiceovers. And I'm not sure if they did it all at one time. They may have. Whatever they did, that worked really well. Because you don't often get that with animated films. Sometimes you get them kind of rambling, and sometimes you get them kind of searching, and one's making a joke, and the other one's not getting it because they're not in the same booth together. But in this, it works out really well. And it's pretty. It really is. It's a pretty film. It's gorgeous, and the animation is solid in this, and that's the quickest way to ruin an animated film, is to make the animation terrible. In this, it's very good. In fact, I think the sugarcoating of the picture itself and the characterization actually covers up a bad script with just an okay story. But the message is good. Again, you can pack the kids up and you can go see it, and you won't be remiss. Next up is Project X, directed by two people you've never heard of and starring a whole bunch of people you've never heard of. And it's a pretty forgettable film. That's why I'm not even mentioning them. This is aptly named in that it's just a project. And there's really nothing to hang your hat on. It's sort of a mix between Superbad and Chronicle. Except both of those movies are good and this one is not. That's about the only difference. You know, you've seen the advertisements for it. It's basically about a bunch of kids that throw a party. That's it. That's all you got. That's the script. That's the plot. That's the story. Go. I mean, they try to make something out of absolutely nothing. We've had party films before. These are not new to Hollywood. I've still never figured out why in the world, if you're a hardcore partying 19, 20-year-old kid, would you want to go see a movie about partying? I've never figured that out. I don't think that actually happens. Because usually those people are too busy partying to go see a movie. But whatever. So let's talk about Project X and what are some of the problems with it. The first problem with it, besides the fact that there's no story, was the fact that here you have these kids who are virtually, you know, non-existent in their high school, all of a sudden passing around text messages, hey, we're going to throw a party. And 1,000 people show up. Really? Yeah, that's really going to happen. You know, I don't understand. It's not even believable. In fact, they even say at one point in the movie, oh, it's 9:30 at night, and nobody's shown up yet. And then literally a carload of 100 people show up at once. I mean, whatever. I mean, that didn't even happen. I even watched this with a bunch of 20-year-old college kids, and they're all looking at me like, this is terrible. I know it's terrible. It's stupid. I mean, there's some funny bits in it, but I just want to say something. To the bunch of 20-year-olds out there that are currently making films, especially comedies, do yourself a favor and study the history of comedy, please. Go rent a bunch of Groucho Marx type of stuff. Find intelligence in your humor. Because you guys are raised on Jackass, and I realize that's not your fault, but you're raised on Jackass, okay? Where stunts create humor. No, they don't. Funny, brilliance, and humor can all be intelligently done. It can be. It doesn't have to change. You don't have to dumb yourself down in order to make people laugh. Whoever started that, somebody needs to step up and stop. okay? Because we no longer have George Carlin, the comedian, who is a very funny, intelligent man. We don't have people like this anymore. And the younger generation, it keeps on making this shit. They keep making crappy, crappy, crappy movies based on really dumb humor. And it's almost like you guys just want to say, okay, I have one funny line, and I'm going to base a whole movie around it. Here we go. And that's all you have is one funny line, or one funny scene, or one funny moment. It's not enough to hold a movie. Quit making movies based on nothing. It's stupid. That's all on you, you younger generation people, for going to see this crap, keep funding this crap, and keep making this crap. Learn to be more intelligent with what you're making, and I guarantee you will only make more money, and you will have more success. Hey, it's worked since 1920. Why not keep it going? Just a thought. Whatever. If you come back next week, I know one of the movies I will be reviewing is John Carter, the big science fiction movie. I'm not sure what else I'm going to be doing, because I don't know where I'm going to be, so that's probably part of my problem. But I definitely will slip in John Carter on you. Also, if there's a movie that you want to see reviewed by me, then please put it in the comment box below. I will be happy to do that. And also for you DVD fanatics, I'm going to suggest two movies because I couldn't make up my mind which one I wanted you to rent. The first one is The Skin I'm In, starring Antonio Banderas. This is a very interesting movie about Antonio Banderas, whose wife is in a horrible accident, and he has to do reconstruction surgery on her, and he develops a new skin in order to help her, you know, with her self-confidence and that sort of thing. And while that may sound like an extremely boring pitch of a movie, and trust me, when I read it, I went, oh boy, this is going to suck. It's actually really good. It's very heartfelt. It's very heartwarming. And I was pleasantly surprised. I think it's a very good film. And the next and final suggestion is a film called Like Crazy, out on DVD this week. Like Crazy. It is about a very, very, very messed up in-love couple. They don't know if they love each other or hate each other. And while that theme is also nothing new in Hollywood, it is done very, very well. I mean, it's extremely good acting. It's very, very well written. Sharp as a tack is exactly the words I used when I watched that movie. Very good. So for all you 20-somethings who want a better movie, go rent Like Crazy, and you can compare it to your actual life and realize that you're so freaking boring it hurts. Okay? That's all I got this week. Come back next week. Until then, I might see you at the movies.